You know, 2025 was a weird one, right? The internet kind of felt like this secret language everyone was suddenly speaking, but nobody actually had the dictionary. From a number that made no sense to a doll that was suddenly everywhere, culture wasn't just being shown online, it was being created there, in this wild, chaotic mix of inside jokes and obsessions. So today, let's try and decode that language.
And it really all kicks off with one of the year's biggest mysteries. How on earth did a simple number, 67, become this huge piece of internet slang that everybody was using, but, and this is the key, almost no one could tell you what it actually meant?
And it wasn't just words, right? We also saw this collectible monster doll, a thing that's been around for over a decade, just explode and become the year's absolute must-have accessory. Now, these things might feel totally random, but I promise you, they're not. They're actually clues to this massive shift in how culture gets made.
So to really figure out what was going on in 2025, we've got to start by looking at the things that just completely took over our feeds, the objects, both the physical ones and the digital ones, that we all got obsessed with. And this is where it gets really interesting, because you see these two totally different recipes for going viral. On one side, you've got the Labubu dolls. These are physical, kind of creepy cute toys that blew up the old school way, with massive celebrity endorsements from people like Blackpink's Lisa. That creates hype, scarcity, and suddenly TikTok is flooded with unboxing videos. But on the other side, you've got Marcus the Worm. This is just a bizarre avatar from a streamer's VR chat. Marcus had zero celebrities, zero marketing. His fame was completely grassroots, built entirely on these absurd, hilarious rants and just a vibe. It proved that audiences were really craving weirdness over polish. And what this really proves is that even when the platforms change, human psychology really doesn't. I mean, the Labubu craze is basically just the 2025 version of Beanie Babies. That deep desire we have to collect things, to own a little piece of the hype, it's timeless. It's just that now it's being supercharged by this incredibly powerful digital engine.
Okay, so culture wasn't just about what you could have. It was also about what you could say. And that takes us away from viral objects and into a whole new form of viral language.
Which brings us right back to 6-7. I mean, get this, the phrase got so massive that Dictionary.com actually named it the 2025 word of the year. And their definition just captures the beautiful absurdity of it all. They called it a burst of energy. It wasn't a word with a fixed meaning. It was something you used to feel connected to the moment, to everyone else who was using it. And it was everywhere, in comments and captions as a reaction. It could mean, this is amazing, this is total chaos, or sometimes just a vibe. And that's the whole secret. Its real power came from the fact that nobody knew what it meant. Not knowing was the joke, and being in on that joke became its own kind of social currency.
And you saw this spirit of remixing everywhere. Take the Jet 2 holiday audio. It's this super upbeat, cheerful ad jingle, so naturally people hijacked it and started pairing it with videos of their absolute worst vacation moments. The hilarious clash between the happy audio and the vacation disaster on screen, that was just perfect, relatable internet humor.
So, the third major piece of this whole 2025 puzzle wasn't made of objects or words. It was made of code. Artificial intelligence finally became this mainstream tool for self-expression, and it let us see ourselves in all these new and often very nostalgic ways.
This was the year that AI stopped feeling like some abstract, kind of scary technology and became something really personal. It was like a mirror, but a magic mirror. It let us see ourselves not just as we are, but as we kind of imagine ourselves to be, all filtered through our favorite pop culture memories and fantasies. And this exploded in a few huge trends. You had the hashtag Ghibli filter, which lets you see yourself as a character in a dreamy, beautiful Studio Ghibli film. Then you had AI that could turn your selfie into a grand classic Bollywood movie poster. You could even make a brand new photo look like a faded, old-school Polaroid. All the filters were different, but the motivation was exactly the same. Using new tech to tap into that very old human desire for a little bit of nostalgia and fantasy.
So what does all this mean? I mean, when you put the viral dolls, the nonsense words, and the AI mirrors all together, a really clear picture starts to form about who's in charge of culture today.
And look, this isn't just a feeling. The data really proves it. A survey this year found that a whopping 86% of people trust content from regular users way more than from brands themselves. And that one statistic basically explains everything, from the rise of a streamer's weird VR chat worm to the power of a remixed jingle. Authenticity, or at least the feeling of authenticity, is now the most valuable thing online.
What we're witnessing here is a fundamental power shift. For decades, culture was pretty much handed down from the top, by studios, by big brands, by media giants. Now, it's being built from the bottom up, by millions of users creating and remixing together in real time. We're in a world where a streamer's digital worm can be more iconic than a movie star, and a meaningless number can spread further than a multi-million-dollar ad campaign.
And all of this leaves us with one really big question. This new culture is faster, it's way more chaotic, and you could argue it's more democratic. But when our shared language is built on an endless, fast-moving stream of inside jokes, who gets left out? What happens when you're just not online enough to get the reference? That's the challenge we're left with.